Hello,
It's 7 o'clock.
it's Yoga Sutras time. And let's see, here we are. There is the list of the Yoga Sutras. We're in the section on efforts and commitment, Sutras 19 to 22 of chapter 1. And I will take that off here now. And there I am. And hi, Jamie. Hi, Raj. Matri is here. I will bring her up momentarily. And there she is. Hi, Matri.
Good evening.
Good evening. And there is Scott. And let's see. Alrighty, and there is our Yoga Sutras. And there is Roseanne. Hi, Ro.
Hi, everyone.
And Raj says hi, Ma.
Hi, Raj. Hi, Scott.
Scott says hi. Everybody's saying hi now.
One another. That's good.
Yeah, alrighty. So I guess I will, what will I do? I guess I will, this is probably not going to be easy to see here. If I leave this like this, it's probably pretty small for everybody, so I will make it bigger. And, oops. And there we are. And so, you still there, Mom?
Yes.
Okay. So I've got our pictures off, but we've got the thing there, and your voice and my voice is there.
Okay.
And Scott says hi, everybody.
Cool.
And Nilesh says hi, everyone. Hi, everyone and everybody. So, efforts, what?
Yoga Sutra time.
It's Yoga Sutras time. And so here we are. We've been through all these preliminaries and the first 4 sutras defining yoga. And talked about types of concentration, abhyasa and vairagya, practice and non-attachment.
Yes.
We were introduced to klishta and aklishta vrittis. And let's see who we got here. We have a Rosalind. Hi, Rosalind. And we have an Aranka. Where is Aranka now? Are you still in Thailand? Or did you?
Yes.
Where is she now?
In Thailand.
Still in Thailand. Just
Like
curious.
halfway her journey, I think.
Halfway, huh? I kind of thought so. So anyway. Yes, she says, yes. And so I'm getting this lined up so I can see everything. I know you guys can't see my screen, but if I get this lined up just right, then I can see everything at once. Two kinds of aspirants are described in Sutras 19 and 20, both of whom can attain the goals of yoga. And I think this is probably true if I can just make this friendly sort of comment from the beginning. I think that all of us in this conversation are of category 2. When you hear it, just so you don't have to get concerned about which category you're in, you're probably in category 2. 1, advanced. The first is those who have made tremendous advancement in previous lives and find samadhi easy to attain. That's in Sutra 19. We're going to remember how I lay these things out here. I always put the whole summary in an introduction before we go through the sutras, and then comes the sutras. So in some sense, all we need to do is look at the introduction, and we got the principle. Others, number 2, others. I just call it others. Most people are of the second type, which means following 5 kinds of effort and commitment. The category 1 people, they don't have to put a lot of effort into these because they're already got a pretty good head start. The rest of us need to do number 1, Shraddha, 2, Virya, 3, Smriti, Samadhi, and Prajna. Shraddha is, short version, developing the faith that you're going in the right direction. And of course, faith is not a blind faith like is in religion. We'll talk about that more. Virya is energy, and it simply means putting out the energy, committing the energy to go there. Smriti is cultivating memory and mindfulness. That's a cute way of putting it, Raj says. They have a tailwind. Yeah, they have a pretty strong tailwind, I think, is the idea. And samadhi here means seeking the states of samadhi, because the lower samadhis are instruments and tools to experience the higher samadhi. Prajna means pursuing the higher wisdom. Pra means supreme. Jna is from jhana, which means wisdom. In Sutras 21 and 22 below, 9 levels of practice and commitment are described, along with 3 further divisions for those doing intense practice. From those, you choose one of the 9 levels of practice. Now, when we go through this, please, I beg of you, don't turn this into big work. There's an elegant simplicity in the way Patanjali presents this information, and it's simple arithmetic. It's 3 times 3. I put a little table down. Turned it into a little table for us modern people so we can see it more easily. So again, don't get too worked up over which of 9 levels of practice you are. It's simpler than that. Everybody can progress and have direct experience, and it is very useful to be aware where you are in your practices. Great freedom can come from that awareness. Hello, Terry Violet. Okay, and here's 19, Sutra 9. Some who have attained the higher wisdom, the Videhas, see there's the Videhas, or knower of unmanifest nature, the Prakriti Laya yogis, those who have merged into Prakriti, are drawn into this birth in this world by the remaining latent impressions of ignorance, avidya, and more naturally come to these states of samadhi. The Videhas are the disembodied ones who have attained higher levels, and the Prakriti Layas are those who have merged into Prakriti, which is the subtlest material essence of the universe. While this may be a somewhat advanced state, merging into Prakriti is a detour, so to speak. Pure consciousness is not experience, in other words, Purusha or Atman, but only the unmanifest Prakriti. Merging into Prakriti is not the goal of yoga. Now, I don't mean to, well, I want to make a comment on this, but I don't mean it in the sense of scaring any of us. If we're not aware of the potential to just merge in Prakriti, we can get lost in that boo-boo and think, oh, wow, this is enlightenment. And some systems of meditation only go as far as Prakriti. Don't ask me to put labels on that. That's not the reason I'm making the comment. But just listen to the simple wisdom that Patanjali is telling us here. We all in this conversation have some idea of the concept of Purusha, pure consciousness, and the three gunas, the subtlest matter were the three gunas of Prakriti. The subtlest matter out of which what you and I know as matter emerges is called Prakriti. So if we go into deep, deep meditation and we go into formless Prakriti, we can come back out of that meditation and say, wow, I've experienced the highest consciousness. I now have liberation. And we have taken a detour. So it's a simple thing of just being aware of this. And so what do you and I do with stuff like that? Whatever happens in meditation, keep going. Whatever happens, keep going. Recall that this sutra is following through on Sutras 17 and 18, which outline 4 levels of samadhi on an object and objectless samadhi. This sutra is describing one of the 2 general types of approach to these samadhis. O Supreme Kriti, Prakriti. Yeah, hi Johnny. This sutra applies to few people. Most need to follow the second path, which is in the sutra just below. In other words, if one does not come into this world as a Videha or a Prakriti Laya Yogi, then the 5-fold path outlined in the next sutra is the one to follow. And I think that's probably most of us. And so here's the sutra itself. And it simply outlines Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Prajna. And then it's got the fancy words preceding for other people. Itarasham. The path of faithful certainty in the path. 2, directing energy towards the practice. 3, repeated memory of the path and the process of stilling the mind. 4, training in deep concentration. And that's the samadhi. And 5, the pursuit of real knowledge. The pursuit of prajna, which is the higher samadhi, asamprajnata samadhi. The 5 principles and practice in the sutra form a very simple, straightforward outline of the personal commitments needed to follow the path of self-realization. It is very useful to memorize these 5 and to reflect on them often. This 5-point orientation works in conjunction with the 8 rungs of yoga introduced in Sutra 28 of Chapter 2, which we are not at yet. So remember how these sutras link together. One piece leads into something else. Hi, Jeff. Jeff says hello.
The 8 rungs are very popular, but the 5 points are not as a 5-fold path.
They're very often, if not usually, overlooked.
But they're amazing to have.
They're what now?
They're amazing to have just as much as almost the 8 rungs are to be
They're
aware of.
a tremendous foundation, aren't they? Yeah. Oops. I'll put that back there.
Okay.
Shraddha, the faith you're moving in the right direction. It's not blind faith in an organization, institution, or teacher. Rather, it is an inner feeling of certainty that you are moving in the right direction. Notice the very practical nature of what I'm suggesting here. You have faith. Whatever meditation you're doing right now, the level or degree of your meditation right now, do you feel like you're going in the right direction? I'm saying that, just ask yourself that. Do you
Yes.
feel like you're going in the right direction? And that is the meaning of Shraddha. You may not know exactly how your journey is unfolding, but you have an inner intuition of walking steadily towards the goal of life. The faith of yoga is not one of blind faith, as in the case with some, if not most, religions. Not meant to be an insult, just a comment. Oral tradition suggests that the aspirant not merely believe in anything, rather suggested that one test the ideas in one's internal laboratory, with the faith of yoga thus being based on direct experience, always on direct experience. And when there's mention of direct experience, remember that does not just mean direct experience of Atman or Purusha. Everything is direct experience. Every one of these principles, when you test it out for yourself and you discover, wow, this Patanjali was right about this when I'm saying that playfully. You give Patanjali, you're like the scorecard person, and you give Patanjali an A in that point. You say, good job, Patanjali. You told me something on track here. And then you have faith that it's accurate. If one has practiced breath awareness and diaphragmatic breathing and finds that it leads to a calm, quiet mind, that direct experience is the foundation of the faith that continuing such breathing will in the future lead to similar experience of calm and quiet. If you're sharing with somebody else the value of simple breath awareness and diaphragmatic breathing, you can do that with confidence because you're doing it yourself and you know that there's something to it. You may not have a teaching certificate, but you know from your own experience that there's something to it.
You trust.
Yeah. Sid, hi Sid Mathur. Sid, Patanjali was spot on. Good, that's a nice phrase. I like that. And I think there's great value in looking at that. Do that with Swami Rama too when we go through Swami Rama's stuff and you're reading one of those books, or when I do it, or when Matri says something. Yeah, playfully. It's a beautiful, easy way to do this. Just say, do it like you're the scorecard keeper, and you say, wow, that was pretty cool, Patanjali. I think you were right. And you hit it again. Spot on, Swami Rama, spot on. We see a lot of those in Facebook comments when there's a quote posted and somebody will post a thing that says effectively spot on. I'm not sure it means the Facebook comment, that we're assessing Patanjali and say, yep, Patanjali, because I get that. As you know, I post some of the Yoga Sutras pretty much every day unless I get behind or I forget. And so somebody will say, right. And so we're assessing Patanjali. Virya is the positive energy of ego that is the support for the faith of going in the right direction. This energy of virya puts the power behind your sense of knowing what to do. When you are strongly acting on what you know to be your correct path, that is virya. I mentioned the example of the diaphragmatic breathing in the last paragraph. So you have shraddha, you have faith that diaphragmatic breathing and breath awareness will calm the conscious mind. You know it's true. But if it's not of tremendous value, if we don't put some energy behind it. Oh. Dead, nuts on, spot on. Okay. I guess that means the same as spot on, huh? Mm-hmm. Is that an Indian version of spot on?
No, that's Southern, right?
Southern?
Yeah,
is that a Southern
Southern
U.S. term, huh?
It is.
I see. Well, I didn't know that.
I think.
That's from Georgia, huh?
Yeah.
When you're strongly acting on what you know to be a correct path, that is virya. When you feel weak or uncertain and are taking little action, that is from lack of virya. You hear the way, as you're listening to these, the way in which there's a beautiful simplicity to these. And these are 5 things that are very useful to memorize. I don't know where it came from, but yes, it's spot on, totally accurate.
So with the Shraddha, it's not necessary is, it needs a little push. So the two, they work together. So it's not that automatically when you have Virya, you're also living by it and putting your energy in it.
And I didn't put the word Swami Rama here, but as Swami Rama reminds us, I can do it, I will do it, I have to do it, and I'm going to do it. Smriti is cultivating constant mindfulness of treading the path and of remembering the steps along the way. This is a useful portable tool to remember this principle that we're doing sadhana right in the middle of life, 24/7, as the saying goes. Spot on? This memory is not a negative mental obsession, but rather a gentle though persistent awareness of the goal of life, of faith in your journey, and of your decision to commit your energy to that process. Smriti is also the practice of mindfulness of inner process, both witnessing at meditation time and during daily life. Now note here that there are some people, many people in our modern world that say, what spiritual path do you follow? Well, I practice mindfulness, or I do mindfulness meditation, as if this is an entire complete system unto itself. And for some people, that may be a true statement. That may be their perception of reality. But for the yogi, the smriti, the mindfulness, is an extremely useful, if not essential, aspect of the foundation. But it's not the end of the journey. Where we can go off in this a little bit is if we think that it's only about smriti, we can end up where we have a quiet, calm, conscious mind and confuse that with samadhi. Quiet, calm, conscious mind is not the end of the journey. It's not the final goal of meditation. It's a portion of the step along the way, and that includes smriti. What we got here? Raj says, yay, the very fact that you are willing to put in the energy is because you already have faith in the practice and faith that you are on track. Yeah, spot on, Raj. Or what was that thing? Nuts true?
That nut.
Dead nuts on.
Yeah.
Dead nuts
I remember
on.
I learned it together with slap dab in the middle. So
slap dab in the middle, yeah.
They're connected in this chitta.
Samadhi is intently pursued through the various stages of samadhi already described. It means committing to systematically moving through the levels or stages of samadhi and to using these skills of attention as the tools to discriminate, the viveka in Sutra 26, the various forms of ignorance. Let's just click there quickly here, just for the fun.
Okay.
There's the discriminate, and we see there it is. The yoga of discrimination.
With the word viveka.
With the word viveka. I guess I could scroll down for that, huh?
Yes.
All right, I'll scroll down to it. There it is. You see, there's the viveka. Viveka khyate is the means of liberation from the alliance with the karma. And so there that was right there. The various forms of ignorance. What are the forms of ignorance? Sutra 5 of chapter 2. There they are, the various forms, confusing the temporary and the eternal, the pure and the impure, painful and pleasure, and the non-self with the self. The forms of vidya, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, there we are. And remembering that this is a process of systematically removing the ever finer levels of our being comes in chapter 6, where we are reminded that we're taking this samyama, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, this razor sharp attention, and applying it to the ever finer levels of our being. That three-part process of samyama is gradually applied to the finer plane states or stages of practice. So the one nice things about having hyperlinks is we can do this clicking around like this and see what we're doing.
And again, in less than a minute or so, you have almost talked about the whole Yoga Sutras as one whole.
Yeah, there we are. So there's the whole thing. And so in these 5 things here in this sutra, the principle here of samadhi is that what we are doing is we are intently pursuing the various levels of samadhi. It doesn't mean check this off the list. There's 5 things in this sutra, and when I finally get samadhi, I will check it off the list because I've done that. Keep it simpler than that, please. I request of you, is that we are pursuing that kind of attention. I think this is when I started veering away from Buddhism, as it tends to treat the mind as an end in itself. This is an awkward one, Sid, I'll add here, because a lot of people are doing all sorts of different activities in the name of Buddhism, just like many people are doing different things in the name of yoga. And some of the stuff in yoga is pretty far off track and is not even worthy of being called yoga. And I think something comparable happens with the ism called Buddhism. So if we take what the dude was doing, what he was trying to communicate to us, I think it's very, very much on track. But when it moves through history, moves through a couple thousand years of times, and lots and lots and lots of teachers and students and buildings and schools and all this sort of thing, I think this is where parts of it get to drop away. So I hear what you're saying, Sid, and yet I think that the wisdom is inside of Buddhism. And I don't know why we humans, we started ismizing things. Ismizing. I just made up that word.
Doesn't say that's not a word, right? I like it though.
Yeah, you like that word?
Yeah, notifying. It's not a word of yours that I really like.
Raj says Buddha had said that in 500 years after his passing, Buddhism will be pretty off track, to borrow your words. Something like that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this phenomenon, I want to add here that the phenomenon that Sid and Raj are talking about there, I think it's very useful to recognize that unchecked, this is in our human nature. This is what we do very, very easily unless we pay very, very close attention. When I keep saying to you, as you've heard me say, that there's simplicity in this stuff and look for the simplicity, I say that at the risk, hoping that you don't keep it, that you don't close the door to it becoming subtler and deeper and more profound. The simplicity is always there, but if we overdo the word simplicity, then we will miss the elegant depth. We will overlook the depth of this thing, and we will miss what I'm trying to say. We'll miss what Swami Rama's trying to say. We'll miss what Buddha was trying to say. We'll miss what Patanjali was trying to say. And so let's look for the simplicity, but remember that the so-called complexity starts out with simplicity, simple principles, and yet it just keeps growing and growing and growing. Prajna is the higher wisdom that comes from discrimination, and this wisdom is assiduously sought through the process of introspection. And again, that's back to Sutra 26, the one on Viveka. Using the razor-sharp tool of samadhi, and as we clicked on that a moment ago, up here that goes to the ever finer levels of our being. But the pra is supreme, and the jna, the jna, is jhana, supreme wisdom. So it's saying, similar to what we said in samadhi is intently pursued. Here it's like, no, I may have only a small understanding of what this stuff is all about, but I'm going to pursue this prajna. I'm going to turn on my camera here and show you our little reminder. I have a card and I have the big card behind me. So you have some idea. We keep talking about it. You read about it. You do meditation practices. You have some idea of Atman. I mean, there it is. There's the Atman. It's the question mark. It's one with Brahman. It's Shakti that's one with Shiva, and all of those terms. Every one of those is a way of describing the supreme or highest wisdom, the prajna. I hope that's okay, the way I said that. Yes. Is that making sense? Mm-hmm. So the spirit of this here is that we are assiduously seeking this. And the degree to which today you have some knowledge of what that's about, my playful, passionate way of saying it, you've heard me say it before probably, is that I'm going to put the energy into it, into it, and maybe this very next meditation, I'm speaking to you guys, maybe the very next meditation, the door to God will be open. I'm not saying that so that when it doesn't happen quite that way, you beat up on yourself. That's not it. But it's putting all the attention in it. Wait a minute, I do know something. I'm not ignorant. I've been a good student in studying this stuff, and I have a regular practice, and I have some sense of grace of Guru, God, lineage, mantra, Shastra being behind me. I'm doing this stuff. And maybe this next meditation, I will have an incredibly deep glimpse of this prajna. That's all it's saying. That's the simplicity way of saying it. It is amazing. Roseanne got it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She likes the word. And there's Mitesh. Hello, Mitesh.
Good evening.
I had a hello and then I took it away too fast. And just in case everybody's bored, there's my tree. Wave, Mom. Okay. Okay. Numerous levels.
Right, that'd be boring.
Yeah. Numerous levels of wisdom are experienced through the practices in chapter 2 and 3. A lot of insights come that are mapped out in these chapters, and chapter 4 as well, all of which are set aside with non-attachment. Because if it's an experience, if there is a me still having an experience of a that, then the seer is not resting in its true nature. It's not yet self-realization. So everything is set aside. And this is as our practices get deeper and deeper and deeper. So profound insights come. And what do you say? Because you're having a working knowledge of these 5 principles that we're talking about here. What do you say to yourself? Wow, cool. I'm cool, but I think I'll keep going. Keep going. Don't stop here.
And not get, ooh, this is my prajna and my experience and how amazing I am. I'll just stick around here and enjoy my subtle experiences that I have and tell them about to everyone and stuff.
My. Yeah. Mind. Let's go look at this sutra here quickly. This section here, notice I gave this sutra its own private little section because it's so important. This is the one that says, what do we do with all these great insights and powers and stuff that comes? Nothing. Also, see briefly. but we won't do very much with it. And all of these are familiar to you. We haven't gone through one of these articles in a while. We probably ought to do that.
Mm.
And even better than that is I've heard a rumor, there is an online course available on this. I think it's called something like Om and the 7 Levels of Consciousness.
I think you would enjoy that, Swamiji, if you go through that. The person who speaks in that course has a lot of direct experience speaking through prajna, but really from levels.
By cultivating a constant remembrance of these 5 forms of efforts and commitments, the specific practices are all understood in this simple context. This helps a great deal to inspire one to follow through on doing the actual practices suggested throughout the Yoga Sutras. Now, here's the one that gives you those 9 combinations. Those who pursue practices with intensity of feeling, vigor, and firm conviction achieve concentration and the fruits thereof more quickly compared to those of medium or lesser intensity. Okay, so there's great intensity and medium and lesser intensity. For those who move forward quickly, so there's speed and there's intensity. Those who move forward quickly do so. Listen to this carefully. Those who move forward quickly in their practices and do so with intensity. That's the principle. The fruits of the practices are very close. There are 2 dimensions here. One is that of the speed at which they are moving, and the other is the intensity of effort behind it. Everybody got that? Speed and intensity. There are 3 levels of each, meaning that there are 9 levels of practice. 3 times 3 is 9. Now, this is where I'm wanting to say to you, keep this very, very simple. I've known people who go through this sutra, and you can spend years trying to analyze the Sanskrit and get yourself all sorts of wound up and confused over this. This is an effort to make it very simple. Notice at the top here, I've got mild, medium, and intense. That's the amount of intensity. And I'm using here the word conviction for speed. Well, the speed at which I'm doing is mild, medium, or intense. So you say, okay, well, now I'm retired. My children are grown. I've retired from my career. And whether formally or just as a way of life, you're saying, okay, finally, now I'm essentially in the sannyas phase of life. Now I have a tremendous amount of time available. But I'm not putting my heart in it. You with me?
Yeah, Mitesh asked a question about bhava.
About what?
Bhava.
Yes, of course it comes. Mitesh, does it come with bhava? Yes, of course. And so keep it simple. Here's an example. The pink. See the pink there is an example. This is a person with lots of time for practice, but little conviction. So you can leave home, you can leave your family and your career, you can go to Haridwar or Varanasi or Rishikesh, put on orange clothes, and do absolutely nothing. You can go do that. You can go live in an ashram and be taken care of and waste your time not doing any practices. You have the opportunity. You have lots of time for practice, but you're not using your conviction. Now, this one down here, the blue one or purple, whatever, I guess that's kind of purple, isn't it? I'm using 2 extremes here. Here is one, I have little time for practice, but I have a tremendous amount of conviction. And this, on the other hand, a person with little time might do only mild practice but have great intensity of conviction. Such a stance is far superior to progress on the path of enlightenment. Having little time is balanced by conviction at the practice time and sincere cultivation of meditation in action. I hope this is making sense to you, what I've attempted to do here. Yes. Just remember that you have the life that you have. If you have a career job and you have a family and you're raising children and you're tempted to say, but I just don't have time. The formula is use the time that you have with tremendous conviction, with a lot of virya behind it. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the precious time that you have. The other part of that is says, and I am going to continue to learn. How do I do this stuff right in the middle of life? Everybody says it can be done. How can I do it? I'm never going to give up on that. I'm going to figure out how to do meditation in action and how to cultivate constant awareness of the Atman right in the middle of my job, right in the middle of everything in life, okay?
Everyone has 24 hours. It's about how you use them.
Yeah. For those with intense practice and intense conviction, last sutra, there are 3 more subdivisions practice than those with mild intensity, medium intensity, and intense intensity. This starts to get a little bit more complicated, but it's the simple arithmetic. And you can go back and read through this or anything you want, and you'll see that there's something to it. For those with intense practice and intense conviction, box 9 above, there are still 3 further divisions. Now, I did not try to make a chart of that. Recall that in the last sutra, 21, it was pointed out that such intensity means that attainment is near. With this further subdivision, that attainment also has 3 levels. For those with mild intensity, attainment is imminent. For those with medium intensity, attainment is more imminent. With intense intensity, attainment is most imminent. So there's a way of thinking with this, okay? And just stick with it, and just, to me, the important part of the thing is think, how much time do I have in my life? Am I at a phase of life where I've got small children at home, and I have to tend to them, or you're Rojo and she has kittens. So Rojo, all right, we'll use Rojo as an example. Rojo has a whole bunch of kittens. Now we could say, well, she's not a very good yogi because if she was, she wouldn't be living with a bunch of kittens. But this, for her, as strange as it may sound to the rest of us, this is an aspect of her family. She treats those one of the cats just had little baby kittens. There's now 5 more little kittens. And she's busy talking to, she's a doctor and is in a clinic, and she's talking to people there and Facebook friends and friends from her home in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. She's already trying to find homes for these little children that she's got. And it's sort of her life. And so we could say she should not have those cats. She should be using that time for meditation. But it's in her karma or dharma or nature to be a cat lady. And so the question for her is not, how do I get rid of all of the cats so that I have more time for meditation? The question is, how do you do sadhana right in the middle of your, what do you call it? A colony, I think. Yeah. You call it cat people call it a cat colony. So how do you do sadhana right in the middle of a cat colony? How do you do sadhana right in the middle of your daytime job, which is seeing a string of over 1,000 patients? And so she's got 1,000 patients and a whole bunch of cats. Now, that's not my choice of life. I would not do that. I mean, I chose a different path. So within that limited time, the challenge becomes, how do I do meditation in action? How do I do contemplation in action? And so
arrangement and
how do you arrange your time, and how do you use the time once it's arranged? How do you use it while you're doing it? You know, and this is every one of us. So you make an assessment of, you know, Matri has more time available than does Rojo. We can say, well, Rojo, you made some bad decisions in life because you don't have as much time as Matri. But Matri, is she using her time wisely, or is she wasting her time? What do you think, Mom?
I'm thinking I'm using my time wisely.
There you go. Everybody got the principle. Think of your own life. Think of your own life and how your time is a good way to look at it, how your time is available and how you're using the time that is available. There's the simple principle in this thing. You can go through these sutras here in one moment. All righty. So plug yourself into this simple framework, and please don't let it get complicated, because remember, we take the number 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 more possibilities is 27 combinations. Now you could drive yourself crazy trying to figure that out and map it out and all that sort of thing. I worked very hard. Once I understood something about the principle here and saw the simplicity, I wrestled with this thing for the longest time, and I finally ended up making this table because I thought this table is the simplest way I know to say it. And if I try to explain all 9 of these things, I'm going to make it confusing. So I said, well, I'm going to put a coloring here in box number 3, and I'm going to put a thing in box number 7, and just talk about 2 extremes. And by talking about 2 extremes, my hope is that this makes sense and is simple for you. So you have a little bit of time, a medium amount of time, or you have a whole bunch of time. You have family or cats and jobs and duties like that. You know, maybe you're at a point in life where you have aging parents, and you had all this great plans of how you're going to use your later years for sadhana, and all of a sudden you're being a babysitter or a caretaker for aging family members, parents. And you say, well, it's not what I had in mind. So, okay, maybe you end up, maybe that's medium time, because you had in mind a lot of time and it just didn't work out. And so you've got medium time. So you blend with it. You live with what you've got, and you emphasize the conviction of doing this strongly. Okay, is this making sense for everybody?
It does. I'm seeing some comments fly by that shows that it does.
What, Mom?
I see some comments fly by that show that they do.
Uh-huh. All righty. Well, I'll put this here and we can chat and we can talk about, pick one. Oh, yeah, a lot in there.
Yeah. It's too much to remember all.
I think this number 7 is.
I think also, if I may make a comment, in what I've noticed in my sadhana in a long time ago is that when I finally started to lean and take my few percentage of prajna that I had acquired through the practice I did, then the shraddha intensified, because even little glimpses that we have, you know, we kind of mush them away like, I'm a nobody, whatever. But it's when I took those small, really direct experiences and sat with the fact that, no, I do know something and I'm going for it, and this is really it. So I remember that then all started.
And that she is telling us, everybody, this is all of us.
Yes. That's what I'm sharing.
And the only simple little key there is don't allow it to accidentally go off on an ego trip about how wonderful I am.
No, I think
but see, as she looks at me right now, and she says, wow, I really am wonderful.
I'm noticing a tendency in a lot of us, including myself, of doing the opposite, which is also ego.
Yeah.
I am
To
nothing.
put yourself down. It's easy to do a put down.
But that's also ego, but because I'm the self.
Yeah. It's two kinds of ego. One that says, I'm bad, I'm bad, I'm bad. And the other says, look how great I am. And part of the middle ground is what I'm playing with was this.
Yes.
It's being playful. It's saying, yeah, okay, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I have some shraddha going. I've had some glimpses of something, and I'm doing stuff, and I'm putting some energy into it, and I'm managing my time well, and all those things. I'm doing okay.
Yeah. And
but I'm not off on an ego trip.
Mm.
I can do it, I will do it, I must do it, and I am going to do it, or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, she tried it again, another version of the same thing.
Yeah.
Cat lady. Okay, yeah, well, the cat lady's gone, Johnny. She went off to take care of cats. You know, what a terrible thing. She left the Yoga Sutras to go take care of her cats. Huh?
Sid says it's okay that I use your Yoga Nidra.
I'm sorry, what?
He said something and then.
Who?
Sid.
I made the mistake of choosing the first time number 9.
Oh, in high intensity and high conviction. But that's not one.
I'm having trouble hearing you. Can you enunciate a little for me so I know what you're saying?
That was not the comment that I just saw slip by.
Well, I'm searching. I'm trying to find it.
But that was a good comment too.
Can you repeat again what I'm looking for? I don't see it.
Something with Yoga Nidra.
Something with Yoga Nidra. And it was Sid said something about Yoga Nidra. Well, yeah. I can't respond to the Yoga Nidra comment because I can't seem to find it.
He says, is it okay that I use your Yoga Nidra sound?
I see it now.
There's feedback.
The simple answer is no. The simple answer is no, for the simple reason that Yoga Nidra is different from falling asleep. Yoga Nidra is conscious deep sleep. A good way to do it, if you like to do that at the end of the day, is lay on the floor or a couch or somewhere, not on the bed where you normally sleep, and do the Yoga Nidra practice. Do that first, then get up and have a drink of water, use the toilet or whatever, and then go to bed and fall asleep, so that there's a gap between them. You got a way to say something more about that, Mom?
If you do that, Sid, you train yourself in a different way, which we would not prefer. We want to consciously fall asleep and not use it to train ourselves to unconsciously fall asleep.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it, what she just said. Yeah, because then we're accidentally training our mind that what we're trying to do is to lose consciousness when we do Yoga Nidra.
It has helped a lot of people.
Saying, okay,
like that.
Well, you read the book, but what you're training me to do is follow this inner method of moving attention around. At the end of that, lose consciousness, become inert. And that's not what we're trying to do with Yoga Nidra.
You've mentioned, Samaji, that a lot of people have used it to get over their insomnia. So it's not to say if you have the app, then don't use it, but that's what you do when you learn using
when
that.
I put this, that Yoga Nidra CD has been out for, I don't know, since '03. So that's 14 years that it's been out there, and a lot of emails have come from it, and there's quite a few feedback comments on like Amazon. And so one of the common things is that somebody will tell me, oh, thank you for this Yoga Nidra CD. It has cured my insomnia. I had insomnia for years, and now finally I can go to sleep. So when I say to you, Sid, I'm answering that to you in this context, in this conversation where we're trying to discern aspects of practice. And so the sort of caution, it's not rule breaking, but you don't want to train your mind accidentally to blend falling asleep with Yoga Nidra. You don't want to do that accidentally. You want to train your mind to be able to go to conscious deep sleep, Yoga Nidra, when you want to do that. And when you want to go to sleep, to have sleep, you lay down and boom, you go to sleep. You don't need a technique to fall asleep. You just fall asleep.
And that moment can be used to try to do it consciously, but that's a different way. That's different.
Yeah.
Than using your CD.
So, yeah, I hope that's helpful. And when I've seen those emails, I've seen the written feedback on like Amazon or like this, I try I don't, unless I know the person, unless there's a relationship, I don't write them back and say, oh, no, you did it wrong. I don't do that. It's serving people, and people are learning and okay, so they're sleeping better. It's not what it's about. I mean, I say it in the introduction to the guided practice that Yoga Nidra is a state of conscious deep sleep. It's a practice. It's an attempt to make it clear. But that attempt to make it clear often does not work. And that's all any of us can do with any of this stuff. You just do the best you can with it and hope and that everybody learns. So keep playing.
Cool. He thanked us for clarifying that. So
yeah,
I guess it's clearer.
All righty. So let's pause here, huh?
Yes. Let's do that.
The 5 efforts and commitments. So
write them down, learn them, be aware of them.
And they're
self-awareness.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, self-awareness. It's part of the self-awareness assessment, isn't it?
Yep. Most definitely.
Maybe we could do a self-awareness assessment with somebody using this medium one of these days.
That would be wonderful.
If we can find somebody who's
maybe Ralph will like to.
No, let's not get Ralph. I don't know if people are ready for Ralph.
Thank you, Anka. We'll have a few hours of sleep.
Lekker verder, yes.
Lekker verder slapen.
Slaap lekker. Sleep well.
Sleep well, part 2.
Yeah. Swami Duo strikes again. Yeah. Thank you for playing, Roseanne. Thank you all for showing up and playing. And have a wonderful meditation. And remember that what you're looking for is over there, outside of the picture frame. Here.
Beyond Prajna.
Here, I'll bump you out for a moment. See, it's over here.
See, Wouter is up in the middle of the night, too.
Now it's off. There's Wouter.
He's up.
We didn't even know Wouter was here. He was maybe doing the whole thing.
Nachtbraken, we call it.
Anyway, so see you in a couple days. I guess tomorrow is sort of, unless I get excited to do something, tomorrow is a day off.
We should maybe. I was thinking about it yesterday. No, this morning, I mean, but you were still asleep.
You were thinking about what?
Just telling you, let's go online and do a table talk. But you were
we
still
can do a
asleep.
table talk tomorrow, but
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a table talk tomorrow.
That would be good. Like you've got nothing else to do, Swamiji. I use your time wisely.
Yeah, good company. Yeah. Good point, Johnny. Thank you for commenting.
And Raj is exciting to see you on Friday.
What?
And Raj is excited to see you on
Yes.
Friday.
Raj is coming here on Friday.
The Dosa Guru.
The Dosa Guru is coming, and he'll maybe sit with me online, and we'll do some things over the weekend online together.
That'd be nice.
That'll be nice. So, all right, bye all.
Bye all.
Have a wonderful next meditation, okay?
Okay.
And go off the outside of the picture. See, you start here and go outside. I'm looking at it on the screen, and it ends right there.
Yes.
There's the conscious, and off the screen is the unconscious, and beyond that is the Atman. All right, boy.
I'll bring it up again.
Yeah,
One more time.
okay. Your Atman is bigger than my Atman. Wow. Bye-bye, all.
Bye.
Have a nice rest now, Mom.
Thank you, sir. I will.
Thank you for visiting.
That's wonderful. Thank you for having me.
And being up in the middle of the night to do this.
It's fun.
Bye-bye.